Hello everybody. So today I'm going to record and present a small scripting session with Ruby. The aim here is just to write a script of an actually it is an existing task that I've did at work. I did it manually, but here I think how it can be improved. Obviously, it's not going to be uh, anything about work as such in terms of documents. So right now, for example, I've just downloaded a few HTML files from Wikipedia. So the aim of this exercise, what is it? So let's begin. The aim is to simply extract all URLs from these files in this project. In reality, we won't start doing great things like all in one go, but I will just start with extract and display the URLs in, let's say, in the first file, which is here on computer programming. Obviously, I'm using Ruby 9, the new version, so it looks amazing. Let's start. First and foremost, we will require pp. In Ruby, pp is basically pretty print. It prints everything well, but we also require file. Okay, file to read the file. So just open to read the content of the file. Let's say file 1. Just to begin with, we just put file.open. And since we are returning a value, normally in the Ruby world, you don't need to put parentheses, but good practice is whenever so basically we could just write org dot, I'm not sure it's going to take it, wiki, could write something like that and it would work, but let's see, let's rename it. Basically we are not renaming anything, we are just copy pasting it, so come here and it should work. That's what I'll find very interesting with Ruby, but since we are based on convention, since we are returning something, we put it here. So right now, what is the value? Let's pretty print it and see what we get. So we can just run it here, and our good friend tells us that we cannot load such file error. Okay, so maybe it doesn't find the error, which I think is completely correct. Just go do this. Or maybe it's not how it works. So let's see. I'm not even sure how it works. Just put some data. So one of the good things you will see me doing in this video tutorial is that I will also show how I solve problem, how I debug normally, and how we learn all the things. Because honestly, I'm not an expert in Ruby, but I've used Ruby a lot of times previously just for the sake of scripting, some Ruby on Rails as well. So hello world. Let's see, we remove it for the moment, no problem. Just see if it works, or maybe we are not. So we open version. Okay. So I think we are not using incorrect. Put means we are just outputting a string value to the. Um, yeah, it works. So I think file. Which Ruby version are we talking about? So we go to the terminal and we put Ruby version. Normally it should be 3. It's 2.77. This is the default version, but we can use the first one. I use Orben. Orben use 3.0.5. Local Orben. So Orben is basically a package manager. Ruby manager, just like OVM. So right now, if we just check Ruby version, so by default, it should actually give us previous version. It should show us the other version. I don't know why it's not giving us. but it doesn't matter. We can reuse it. Let's just try it quickly and see why it's not working. Our benf list of versions. So I'm using Brave. What is it? Our benf. Our benf. Let's see. Version 3 hash which. Doesn't matter which. We want just to see the list of our benf version. Local. We have this, so iterate should work. Global. But the question is list of Ruby in this project. So let's see, let's do some problem solving quickly. Normally if I just benf that list, it should work. There's no version benf cheat sheet, so that's this is a bit how I normally do this all version. I think it's this version. Problem solving quickly. So yeah, we have different Ruby. I don't have, like you just saw, I don't have the 5 version. Alright, it's no problem at all, just clear it. Going to use fish. No, not really fish. I actually use fish for work and it gives me awesome autocompletes, but since it's a work laptop, it can give the comments I usually use for work, so not be appropriate right now. So it's our benf local version 4.06. Awesome. It's not installed. I don't know why it's not working like that. Our benf version. Our benf version. So I actually don't really use our benf a lot. I use RVM before. I also use our benf versions. I also use something else called ISDF before, so it's not a big issue. We can continue like that, but we just need to ensure that we are using, wow, this one is a new version of Ruby. We are using a appropriate version whenever we are looking at the documents, because otherwise it's not going to be correct. Let's see. So what I am trying to do right now is just to read a file, Ruby 2.7, Ruby 2 file, open file, our string, open file. So how we do it, we can use the different guides, so we can already check all of that, but we don't even need to do that actually, because Ruby. So we are going to be, as a thumbs up rule, we are going to use the core library itself, and in case it doesn't work, and of course we are going to use a gem. A gem is basically a library in a package name in other programming language. So there's all these things you can do, but to be honest, open is usually enough right now. So for example, I come here and it's going to give you the same because it's how it works. But what is interesting to know with the Ruby principles of the programming language is that, let's see, Ruby principles the language. I hope we get it. There's some how to say that philosophy behind, and one of the philosophies you can do the same thing in multiple ways. For example, right now I want to open the file. I can do it in a lot of ways. I can create a file a lot of ways. So it depends how we do that. Normally, if I just go here, I put Ruby 2 open file like I just did, but now we are going to look for an example of way. This is a quite old one, 12 years ago. So like you see, it's very easy to just open the file, or the read one. Just I use this garbage collection for you. It close the file while open. It's a bit different, but we can use this as well. We can use open, which I just did. So we need to require a file though. It didn't mention here anywhere. There's so many ways to do something in Ruby. That's the beauty, but sometimes it can just take a lot of time to just start the code. But here right now, let's see. Let's see if I had, for example, our good friend. Oh, I do have it. I'm using a tab suspender. So Ruby development tips. This is our good friend ChatGPT. How to open a file in Ruby 2. So let's see. I usually like using ChatGPT for just something interesting, something that I need to search but I don't get it. So ChatGPT, I won't use it for production level code because the free version at least is way back. It's not been updated after September 2021, I think. But the good thing is that otherwise you can absolutely use it. I usually like using Copilot as well and just put something like Copilot open file and it otherwise works. So it doesn't matter. Here we can also use it seems that we don't even need to require it. We can just work directly with it. File 1 is equal to file dot read. So let's see. What I like with JetBrains IDEs like this one, it will automatically suggest libraries, or even actually it will even import them if the need is. So this does this work, should work in theory. Let's see, we don't even need to do anything, just run it. So it's going to be to work as simple as that. So we don't, it's core library, we don't even need to require it. What if I use open, because I'm a bit curious by nature. So open, it will just show this right here. It will give the content and show where it is. Not it's not showing this. Let's see what methods we have. It's not giving the content of the file. Alright, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think already is fine because we don't need to do a lot of things. So I know you can read it, but you can also remove the empty space. So we are just going to do this in a moment. File 1 is this content of the file. Okay, so let's see. Let's say I want to extract all these URL. Is there a way to do that already with Ruby? Okay, let's see. Extract URLs with Ruby. Core language, core library. So maybe there is something like that with ChatGPT. Let's see. If there isn't, it doesn't matter. We are going to do that. So we are going to be extracting all the text. Already in a glimpse, I can see we can extract these two libraries. This we can extract HTTP. So let's go and we put our good all require here. Require URI. Okay, very nice. Then we do this. And what is the type of this file? Class, yes. Let's see what is the type of this file. Here's a string, so very good. So in Ruby, one of the things that is very particular with this language is that everything is an object. That's pretty awesome in one way, is that you have methods associated with it, so you can know what type it is, the class. There is no such thing as strong types, a type as such in Ruby, but rather objects. So once done, let's just try to get it URLs. Okay, the funny thing is that here ChatGPT puts the syntax as Arduino. Pretty interesting. So extract works. Here we want to extract as file 1. Let's just see what we get. We are now going to put the URLs. Alright, let's see how it works. So right now it already gives us Wow, superb. HTTP and HTTPS, but it gives us all of these. I think it doesn't take into consideration the dot, so you might perhaps want to write some logics with that, but no, it doesn't matter. Not right now. So we run it again and we see. So right now we do have these links, so it's pretty awesome. But also as a matter of fact, it we have those empty as well. But this is something we can remove it manually later on. So the good thing is, let's first see which type of data do we have. What is the type? It is a, oh, I should perhaps have array. It is an array, so it's very good. Array. Alright, so already, well, the number thing we can do is to see if I think there's going to be a lot of duplication. So we can just unique it here. We can just use this method unique. What does it do? So we don't have array. It takes an array. It's actually a method for an array. It publics returns an array containing those elements from cell that was duplicated. So it is an immutable method, so it doesn't change the original one. Pretty interesting. We can also force it like that, but let's just take it. Exclamation mark in Ruby is usually used when to force something. Alright, let's see if it works. The unique, just for the curiosity, the original URLs. And then we will do something like unique URLs, so just testing if it works. URLs.unique, we just use a several one here. We put URLs dot this is string interpolation and just length. So at first we are looking how it works. That's good. Then we have unique URL. Our aim right now is just to see if just print it like that directly. So just going to see if indeed we have a few duplicates that it remove. So like that, I'm also going to show you difference between the using PP, pretty print and puts, how it works, the difference. So you see, it's not a big difference as such. We can see all of the link here. We have hundreds of links right now, and for pretty print, it's just going to make it a bit more beautiful, but also gives you the type. At first glance, you can already see it's an array. So I find it useful in a lot of cases whereby you're, for example, displaying different data structures like a hash. A hash is a dictionary. It's like dictionary key value pair, and so you can better understand how it works. So we see eventually that it's working the unit. So we are just going to put it right straight away. We remove all those codes. We don't need them. We already have this, and now we can just simply save them in a file. In fact, I can also show you some beautiful things as well. For example, how many times the link appears. Let's do that just for calculation, for the fun of it. I'll show you how it works, and it's very awesome. The aim right now is I want to know which link appears how many times, and normally how you would do that is you will iterate, keep track of one, create maybe another hash, and then a hash or key value pair, or even you can even create an object and then keep track of them. But what is awesome with Ruby is that in the core library you already have it. Let me just show you a default method to do that. So let's say I want the links and how many times they appears. How would we want to name this variable? Let's say I want to name it HTTP values. Let's say values. Right now I use the famous tally method. It's amazing. I will just show you how it works. We can just put it as the value and we run it. So here you will see it tells me that here, let's use pretty print rather, because otherwise it would be linear. But with pretty print, it gives me in a much. I just mentioned it, so we already say it's an object like. It's not object actually. It's a hash, and if you are very used to coding with JavaScript, you will see that it resembles JSON. But the reality is a hash uses this symbol instead of double dot, but you can also illustrate it with dots, so it's not even a problem. Right now we can see that this URL wiki computer programming is used 6 times and the rest most probably is used 1 time, but it's not sorted. I'll also sort it if we wish. So we can, let's see if we sort it. Is there anything sort? If I use it directly, what happens? It works. I don't think it works, but here you see it works. So it's a bit different how it works. Yeah, it works. We have this different, but I didn't mention how it works, so maybe I could mention it. X. We are going to be using so the curly braces is like a lambda a string and in integer, so it's very good. Gives us we are going to sort it by the unique. It's a hash key value integer. Let's see if it works. I don't even know if it works. So it not work. So sorting how we will do it for later, because otherwise we'll spend too much time with our objective. So we did tally and things like that. It's very awesome. Where we go back to the unique. So here you see how Ruby as a scripting language, but also as a general purpose programming language, is very powerful. You can do all sorts of crazy things. Okay, we've extracted the files, and then we have it here. And when we can also just print the first one. Just some here, just some basic array manipulation. So we have this. Maybe we will want to remove it later, or maybe right now. So we could actually remove it as very easily. Let's see how we could do that in a bit of functional manner. So we just want to select, and as selection we are giving the curly braces, which value you that contains starts with. So I don't think it starts with. So we don't want to select. I don't think we can do that, but I forgot a bit. Select not. Yeah, we can do it. Value starts with. So it might look a bit weird. No, but everyone won't work. If we do that, it doesn't work. So we need to use end with. Start with doesn't work, but end with should work in theory. So right now we are just extracting the file that doesn't end with HTTP. So we are going to miss the HTTPS. So then how do we get the logic? It's very easy. We're just going to count the length. String length is less than 5. So here 0 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because HTTPS going to be here. It's going to be 6. Let's see if it works. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Yes, we don't have not. So I usually code with Rails, and in fact it should not be like that. Since I code with Rails, we have tendency to use active support, but it doesn't matter because we can use reject. Reject is another awesome method from array manipulation method to reject everything that's below that. Every right now it's every array element that's below the certain value. So it still works. I don't know why it still works. Let's just quickly see. Give us the RBS. RBS basically, like you saw it, RBS is used for type hinting. So even we do have that in Ruby, despite not it being strong type. So we reject all the string that is of length 6, so maybe 7. Just as a strategy, yeah, it works. Of course, it should work because HTTP, we don't have this value because we have the dot here, so it's 7. All right, so we saw it, how it appears, all these value. It's pretty awesome. We've structured these values here. We've also removed the duplicates. Now what's the next step is we are going to do it a bit more interestingly, and we are going to actually loop in all these files and do the same thing. But now, first and foremost, what to say is that I don't really know how to do it. With Ruby, all this stuff I already know. I already tried before. Could use open, red. The one thing is that with Ruby you can do a lot of things. You can do the same things in a lot of different ways. So let's just do it. We want to read this entire directory. Okay, how to do that? Ruby 2, read all the files in the directory. Alright, ChatGPT, tell us our command is this, and let's do this. Okay, it looks amazing, but does it work? So let's see if it works. It gives us all this awesome theory. We don't need all of this. We try something else. Ruby do get the current directory. In Ruby 2 you can just read this, so it's pretty awesome. Let's do some trick. Copy here the Ruby directory. Okay, we start our conquest of file. So we have home Abdallah documents playground Ruby. Wow, it's amazing, amazing. Okay, now since we have this path right now, it's our current directory, we can use all these good things. Alright, we are going to use it as just like it mentioned this, we are going to comment them out and try something else. Thanks, we have this, cut, oh it's not cut, redo, delete line, bingo. So control Y in JetBrains IDEs is to delete the line. There for each. Okay, we are going to take the current directory and pass a block. So a block is how to say that. And of course we need to end it. We don't even need to end it because RubyMine, my IDE, will just add the end for us. So Ruby as a scripting language, it is very, even as a general programming language, it is very different from other C# language because we don't really have curly. We do, like you saw here, we do have curly, but we don't have semicolon. But we can use it. We usually use it to have procedures like calls, like statements on the same line. Then we use semicolon, but we don't really do that as a matter of fact, especially if you're going to be using popular Ruby guidelines such as the Airbnb style guide. So otherwise we don't really have static types, strong types. You can use types to an extent. You're using files like the RBS we saw. You can also use sorbet, which is used for that specifically, but I prefer using Ruby. One of the reasons is because the lack of types. Alright, so just some quick mention on the syntax. So we pass a block of code. A block, you can think it like a lambda. In other programming language, lambda is an anonymous function, and the scope is restricted to this function. So basically, inside the lambda, you can't access something else, normally speaking. But with Ruby, you do can. It's a very powerful language, so you can do it. So we are going to skip the special directory. So that's brilliant. I didn't even think about that. Next if. So next is an awesome keyword. Right now we are using for each. We are looping through each different directories and file. Okay, we construct the file path. Yeah, pretty good. Directory path. Let's write it file path. Let's see what it gives us. File.join. So we use join and not we could do it ourselves, concatenate the files manually, but then it won't work with different operating system because they have different lines, how they represent path. For example, in Linux, the Unix type is like that, while in Windows it's like that. And you have some other complexities as well because you also need to take into consideration line breaks or tabs or things like that. I just press my numlock keys, so that's not good. Current directory join, and we're going to join it by file. So here, let's re-say what we are doing. We are in this directory. For each file, we are going to loop through each of the files in the directory, and if there are some special types of file, they start with dot or double dot, we are going to skip them. Actually, here we are comparing it. So yeah, Robocop is not happy. Robocop is a style guide, and it's very powerful actually. You can use it for writing some style. So if you go and see it, there is the line appearing here, but we can't really see it. But I don't know if you are going to see it clearly. Alright, we've joined the file. Now we are going to get the file contents here, and file contents, we are just going to read it like we did before, and we file path. So here we should be having the contents, and we can put them. So obviously are we going to put them right straight away? Maybe not everything. Let's just put some of them. File contents dot. So how do we just substring g sub? I'm going to just put some of them, not all. G sub is like, I don't even know what G sub is, to be honest. I forget. So is it working? First and foremost, let's see. No, it's not working. Are you freed? So we have an issue first. Wow, what the heck? So it's definitely using our band factory, not the Ruby. I don't know why it's not showing the appropriate Ruby version. Alright, so are you freed? Is a read directory read? So it's not working actually because what that's one of the issue you usually have whenever you are going to be using ChatGPT, because some of the we have to I think we are actually using Ruby 3 and Ruby 2 is not going to work, so we're going to copy the same thing and put it here. So I'm just using ChatGPT to save some time because, as Einstein said, we don't need to remember phone numbers, because we have the directory for that. And we can use our brain power, our space in our brain for more complex problem solving skills. So I don't see the need at all to actually rethink all of that. So in Ruby 3, to skip all these theory in my mind. So in Ruby 3, you can read all the files in a directory using the dir class and for each method. So isn't it pretty awesome? We did it, but it didn't work. So we try again. We use another approach. It's a bit similar. So yeah, we don't even need the current directory. I imagine that the dot is the same thing. So file name, we use the file name. So next if da 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 directory is a file name. So this, I think this one is better because we are not going to be reading a directory. Okay, so let's do the same. Do something with the file. Mm, let's put the file name so that we have a better understanding what's happening right here. And since we are using put, it should in theory give us, so we need to avoid this one, but it's a version. But actually, as a matter of fact, for my task that I had, you have different types of file, and maybe some files contain dots. So I need to scan all of those files and extract the URL. So it doesn't matter right now. So we can see that, but we don't want to. Uh, we don't want to get that. Okay, we don't want to be reading our own script file because ideally how it works is maybe we want to read another directory, but even if it's this one doesn't matter. So just add a file close is file name equals, so I'm going to use equals and script.rb because don't need. So here it's also escaping the fact that it is a directory as well, but doesn't matter because we are going to make it work. Expression can be simplified to script, so we don't even need the other one. I don't know why it's not working. Just put this. Maybe it's not happy with the style guide. Yeah, it doesn't want an empty space. Okay, fair enough. We try again. So the Ruby should not work. Ah, it's not working. File name as usual. So I'm not seeing the Robocop thingy quite well. Is there a way to quickly change theme? I'm not even sure. Is switch to classic UI, keep up theme. Yeah, there is log Dracula. So right now I'm using this. Again, so it's you can quickly do it actually. Dracula, that's correct. One icon track, so you can even install. What if I click on install? So yeah, we can even install, but I'm going to lose time doing so. Well, I lost my previous one. What is happening right now? I didn't use this, so just go in theme. This is something I shall eventually won't think more into that later because well, which one? It's not this one I'm using. Font, the scheme, theme. Where is it? So this one doesn't matter. I think the doc was the original one, but it's not working as expected. Editor, general appearance. So I know all that by heart now. So it just because right now the font is too small. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going to use the. Which one did I use? Railcast. Okay, Dracula should be good. Introductory be good, but I don't think it's working. It's not applying at the same time, but okay, no problem. It's just that something happened, but it's better right now because we can see if there's an error. Add empty line. So yeah, Robocop style guide. So we are going to do that, but we also need to recursive because right now we are not getting it recursive. It's not working recursively. Oh, it's working recursively, like you can see, but we cannot read it. We cannot read the directory, so all the five in a directory recursively. So the aim right now is just read all the file. Let's see how it works. So there is something a bit different right now. We have another method, so I think it's pretty awesome. That's why I said that with Ruby you can do the same thing in so many different styles. Okay, path to directory. Here we are going to use our good old friend. First and foremost, we are going to change that to oops. Okay, awesome. Just exchange itself. Here we are going to use this. Sorry, just got it actually, so it's brilliant. Remind is really good. Current directory. But does the current directory already includes a, let's see, I can't remember, uh, lot, just put a breakpoint here, just going to give us debug script bongo. Ah, we don't have a debugger, cancel, doesn't matter because, yes, indeed, that's true, I didn't put it yet, and it can be a good thing, to be honest, to just have it. Shift F10, but I'm using a laptop keyboard and shift right now, I need to lock it. So, of course, it doesn't give us the arrow, these backslash, this slash that is here. So we don't need to add it. So right now, if it is a file, do something with it. Let's see, is it a file really? Let's see. Let's put it and see if it is a file. Ah, it works beautifully. Let's just manually verify it. Ah, it's working, but my battery is low for the moment. So I'm going to just pause the video, if not stop it, and continue with another version, and it's going to be awesome. Trust me, it's going to be becoming even more interesting despite we already have done most of the things. But let's say tomorrow we want to have this, for example, well, this a link in a folder, we want to replace it with another one, so we can use something like a hash with the key and value, the original URL and the one we want to extract it, or we can use a CSV file without header or even an Excel file. We can just read it and it's going to be awesome. So that's it for today, for right now at least. I hopefully will continue with another part as soon as possible, maybe later on. Where is it? Stop recording.